And good evening and welcome back to Revolutionary Health. Revolutionary Health is a program of the Counter Narrative Project. The mission of the Counter Narrative Project is to build power among Black gay men and to work in coalition and solidarity with all movements committed to social and racial justice. You can find us online. We are, of course, on social media. On Facebook, you can find us at the Counter Narrative Project. On Twitter, you can find us at Building Desire. And on Instagram, you can find us at the Counter Narrative. If you are looking for our website, just go on over to thecounternarrative.org. And while you are there, click the Join Our Mailing List button so that you can join our mailing list and find out about all of our events. So, thank you so much for joining us. You are joining us here on YouTube. You should go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and like this video. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can get updates on every time we release a new video. While you're doing that, go ahead and share this video with your friends since you're here. So, my name is Johnny Cornegay. I have the pleasure of being Mobilization Director for the Counter Narrative Project, and I am joined by...
I'm Victor Jackson.
He's the one and only.
I want you to
stop that.
Tell them what you do.
Victor?
I am a teaching and performing artist here in Atlanta, and I'm happy to be here with you all.
Yeah, thank you, Victor.
He's so
Modest. I'm going to say, we'll talk about that.
We will.
Right.
Yes, we will.
So it's on me now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right.
Shine a light. My name is Kipper Jones. I'm a singer, songwriter, social bon vivant.
Bon vivant.
Yeah, all
Well,
that.
that's so funny.
All the things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That's
And an admirer of Victor.
We're not going to call this the orange
And-
couch. We'll call it the humility couch.
Yeah,
The humble pie
The
couch.
humble pie.
Couch. Okay.
and an admirer of David Milbranch and Johnny Cornegay as well. So, you know.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Malbranch. I'm a physician, public health advocate, and I am going to be in Oracle Arena tomorrow night to watch
you have
Game
to?
6 of the NBA Finals, the final game of Golden State Warriors.
This is evidently
This is the
not-
bragging. This is the bragging chair right here.
Right.
So I'm gonna be at that game, and I'm just excited and blessed. And Ace Robinson, if you're watching, I will see you tomorrow. Shout out to you. So we're gonna enjoy the hell out of that game.
I'm living vicariously.
You will.
we're all our
We'll post and send videos, pictures, all that good
Jeez,
stuff.
thanks.
I love it. So listen, couple things that you need to know. And I see folks are already doing it. There is a chat box. Make sure that you go ahead into the chat box and send us a message. We're going to go into some things tonight. We are using music to ground our discussion, but I feel like this will get real spiritual real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick in this discussion.
Hi, Caleb. I'm sorry.
Yes. So we're going to shout people out. So like Caleb did, hey Caleb, hey fam. And JC says, good evening, my brothers. Good evening, JC. And we have One Woman Empire says, hello, super dope. Tune in. Shout out Kipper who posted about this. And JC said, yes, David, that's awesome, man.
Hey.
So make sure you are in the comments and talking to us as we go through this. So, story first. Story first, and then I'm gonna. Hey, Ray. Ray love.
Ray.
Ray loves Victor.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Thank y'all for being here. So one of the things that came up for me, so I was thinking about the show, and thinking about all of us kind of sitting here, and I remember getting in trouble as a kid because. So first of all, Diana Ross was kind of the thing that was like my music thing when I was a kid, right? And so I remember just Motown in general, being in my room and feeling like, ooh, this is what I want to do, because you would see it and it was like all of this. I do get a chance to do music related things, but in a different way, right? I wanted to start us off by talking about like manifesting your dreams, right? Because all of us sitting here started out looking and like, ooh, I want to be. And we've all touched music in some way.
Yeah.
What does it mean, or what does it feel like to manifest your dreams?
For me, like both my parents sing, They met in choir at Talladega College.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of 4. All of my siblings sing. So we are singing was always like that's what everybody's gonna do. That was like the default.
Right.
But my dad's a pastor, so it was like gospel singing is what everybody's gonna do. And I mean, it's like the church is where I cut my teeth. But I don't know. I just always felt like music was so expansive that I couldn't put my finger on how I would be able to express myself with music. All that I could actively do as a human being was like follow the path. And the path of purpose, honestly, has just taken me to the place where I'm at now, where I'm able to like perform myself as an artist, but also like train other artists to perform and create other opportunities for artists, either black or queer or female, to have an opportunity to showcase what they're doing. So I mean, for me, a huge part of manifesting my space in music has been just taking one step at a time.
Shay,
That's
love that.
good.
I love that.
I don't know, I think for me, it's so funny hearing your story because no one in my family did music.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the black sheep, the what is wrong with him, kid?
Yeah.
You know, so so it was just an interesting setup for me because I had to find ways to operate and you know, again, like the statement I made about coming here having all that you're supposed to have and knowing what you're supposed to know, I suppose that there was this innate sort of mission that I had to accomplish. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it was supposed to happen. But I guess it's true because, I mean, things just start to navigate themselves. My mother saw in me something.
A spark.
Yeah, and so she would always, like even I think I may have been 5 or 6, she enrolled me at, we lived in Los Angeles, at the Suzuki School for Gifted Children. It was for talented kids. But there was an Asian girl who came in and played Fleur Elise, and she was 4.
Yes.
And I was like, this is not for me.
Right.
Nancy Tang just wore me out.
Nancy Tang.
I that ass.
Yes. I was done. So, I mean, you know, but she kept at it. I had violin lessons at 9. You know, she saw it, and she just kept me around the arts. She didn't quite know how to go about it because, again, there was no real learned music in my environment. But so she kind of kept me in a space where I could do that. But I think you were going to go there, Johnny, about the whole Diana Ross thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all did it. Let's just put it on the table. You put on your mother's clothes.
Baby!
And you did.
I had T-shirt on my head.
Yes.
You did your best when you need me. No, but no, I did. I'm sure that I wasn't the only
Right. Who else did that? So when we talk about like who was as a kid, who did you emulate for those people who are in the chat? Tell us. I'm really curious.
Yeah, it was the coolest thing for me. And I don't want to hog the show.
No,
but when I think, let's see, 71. So I was like 7 or 8. I don't know, something. Diana Ross and the Supremes farewell tour came to the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood.
Yeah.
The first concert I ever went to.
Wow.
My mother, you know, she loved it. I mean, who didn't? You had to love Diana Ross. She was our first big international kind of diva person like that, right? So that was my first concert, and she took me. And at the end of the concert, Diana Ross had all the kids come to the stage, and I was on stage dancing at the Forum with her brother Chico.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I was like, okay, this is home for me.
Yeah.
This place right here. And when we talk about manifesting your destiny, that was it. And I claimed that spot right there, that day, that evening. And I, years and years and years later, opened for my band Tease. We opened for Luther Vandross and Patti LaBelle at the Forum, Budweiser Superfest. And when I went out on stage, I just said to myself, I claimed this spot and I'm back. This is my spot. I'm back here. You know what I mean? And so it's been those moments when you just do something like that and you just claim it.
Yeah.
I was not old enough to know what that was,
Right.
but again, I subscribe to the theory that you come here knowing
Yes.
what you're supposed to know. You know what I mean? And it was a full circle kind of thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about like who we were emulating while we were sitting. Like I remember in my bedroom when I was in high school, like 14, 15, I had a door, my door had a full-length mirror on it, so I used to close it. And I had the little, did we ever talk about this on here before? So I had, you know, back in the day, like folks used to buy you like the cheap ass cologne, like Brut by Fabergé.
Yeah.
So I had it, and when you flipped it upside down, it was like a microphone.
Yeah.
So I would take it, and so that was the day. That was like 85, 86. So you're talking about Dougie Fresh, Lisa and Cult Jam, Full Force, Prince, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross. All those cats were there.
Sure.
Alexander O'Neal. So I will tell you the three artists that I was the most was Prince, Luther Vandross, and Alexander O'Neal. Like, if you were here tonight, which is probably hands down my favorite song of all time, I would sit there and sing that song to the very last end where he's like, owing to the very end of it. Like, I was in there the whole while. And God forbid if my mother or father came up and like, David, you okay? And I'd like throw that up. I mean, I didn't do the dress. And it was interesting because as I've grown older, like, there are a lot of black same gender loving men that went after, that emulated women and female singers, and I've always been like more drawn to like the male singers, like Glenn Jones, you know, Billy Porter, obviously now, but I see it kind of carrying over into the work, and I know I like to perform, and I'm a physician, so I can't sing except for when I'm in my car or my instrument shop. Okay, I don't sing, but I sing my ass off when I'm like in the car by myself. But I can spot out a good song. Like I was telling the story when I was working as a resident, and I heard Billy Porter singing on a television in a patient's room. And I stopped, and there's that moment where you hear a song. Like I remember I stopped when I heard it was Tone singing "Make Me Over" for the first time. I literally stopped what I was doing, and I was like, "Who is like? What is that voice that I'm hearing?" And you have those moments where you get goosebumps. You're somehow lifted to another plane, and these things happen. And what's interesting is that the performance that I do then, even though I'm a physician now, I incorporate that when I present. So I can present a medical or public health topic and weave something into it. For instance, you know, shout out to my brothers Keith Green and Leo Moore. Keith is a spoken word god and a PhD in social work. Leo is a physician, an internal medicine physician in Los Angeles who can sing his ass off. Wow. And when we did a plenary a few years back at the United States Conference of AIDS, USEA conference, we did a plenary, and we basically we took parts of Essex Hempfield's poem Commitments and recited that. And then in the middle, interspersed between it, Leo had arranged an acoustic guitar version of Stephen Langley's the end of Tongues Untied. You can do what you want to do. You can love who you want to love. And he sang it a cappella with the guitar. And when I tell you, like, to be able to do that and weave like a public health or a health message and then bring art into it, even though I'm not the one singing, but we all work together to kind of put that together. It's just phenomenal. So, you know, being able to see that. So there are a lot of people out there that may not have the talent or may not be able to sing and perform and teach other people, but you want to be able to do stuff. You can still use creative ways to do it. Just because you haven't seen somebody else do it doesn't mean that you can't do it. And again, it's about you can manifest that stuff. There are other people that can't conceptualize what you can. And they'll look at it and they'll say, well, you can't merge, you know, origami weaving and, you know, and being a physician or being a lawyer. And it's like, yes, the fuck I can. I can. It's just that you haven't done it or you can't see it yet.
Right.
But that shouldn't stop you from doing what you're
Pursuing
doing.
it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to bring in some comments, and then we are going to. So I have a couple of questions, and we mentioned Billy Porter. We're going to talk about it in a second. So JC, I'm going to go back, and JC was like, "Kipper, you're an amazing artist."
Wow.
Kipper is an amazing artist.
And JC also said what was most emulated for them was Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson. Yes. Ray Love Jr. For Ray, it was Missy Elliott. Ooh, come through, Ray. I would always try to dance and move like her. She was such a pioneer in terms of being like, you know, because she made it okay. Get out there and do it.
Okay.
She did.
And a Berkeley honoree.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to Missy.
Yes.
One Woman Empire said, oh, wow. Brandy, CeCe Winans, Tony Braxton, and Whitney Houston.
I
Saying
get it.
Whitney
CeCe
Houston
Winans.
come
I
up.
get it. That's the thing.
And also Beyonce.
Of course.
Kanga 311
Yeah.
laughed at the brute microphone.
The
That's
brute
so
microphone
real.
was everything.
Listen.
Right.
And JC, last comment for now. That song "Make Me Over Again" by Tone is amazing.
Oh my
Even to
God.
this
I'm
day.
getting
Sure.
goosebumps right now when I think about it.
Yeah,
And I'm going to play it
sure.
on repeat when I drive
Right.
home tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we were talking before we came live. I want to approach this a couple of different ways.
Okay.
So being out and in this and in the industry, that is, you both navigate this space, right? And we talked about Billy Porter, but I want to start first with talking about how you have grounded yourself as an out gay artist doing entertainment.
Oh, I go first.
Well, yeah,
on,
go
baby.
for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a deep breath one.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's interesting because I this is all very new.
Yeah.
It's all very new. It took a long time to get comfortable. I can't say that I'm kickback comfortable now, but I'm able to navigate a whole lot better. And I'll say a couple of things. One is having a community. And not just friends, supporters, and that kind of thing, but my family. My family to support, believe in me, and just be cool with me.
Yeah.
As a person, I mean, outside of the arts, outside of all of that, they're happy for me that I'm finally okay with me.
Yeah.
And so that makes everything else okay for me. I was mentioning to David earlier, you have to get to a place in your life, not just in your career or in whatever your vocation is, but in your life where you can just not give a fuck. I'm good with me,
Yeah.
and so that's the thing for me, being able to navigate that space there. I mean, I have a band called Kipper Jones R&B Circus.
Yep.
If you're ever in Atlanta, please come to
Yes.
St. James
Yeah,
Live and
yes,
check us
yes,
out.
yes,
Victor's worked with us as well. The one and only Victor Jackson, y'all. But
I know.
but I mean, I'm at a place, even with my band, they know me, they know my husband.
Yeah.
They respect and love us both.
Yeah.
There's no, there's none of that. First of all, I don't tolerate it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is I'm so good with me that you're not going to tolerate me. If you don't accept me, then we're not doing anything. I don't do tolerate.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we just put up with it because, well, no. Let me know if that's what's going on so I can move on.
Yeah.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
That's such a good point because to me, a lot of this stuff when people talk about homophobia or sexual prejudice, a lot of it has been so internalized by us that now it's reflected back. And so family, friends, colleagues will nut up if they sense that you nut up
Yes.
about who you are.
Yes.
So if you're not comfortable with yourself, people can sense that spiritually, and they will prey on that. They'll take advantage of it. They'll reject it. They'll just mirror it back to you.
Sure.
So at a certain point in your life, you could blame it on a lot of other stuff that still happens. There's still sexual prejudice. There's still racism. There's still homophobia. But when you walk into a room and you say, "I'm motherfucking Kipper Jones," and this is how everything is gonna go.
Yeah.
People they're gonna have to respect that. And when they see your craft, when they hear you sing, when they see you perform, they can't meddle over little stuff like, well, he messes around with dudes. Girl, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
have you heard his voice? Have you seen what
Yeah.
he's written? Have you seen him perform? Like, screw all that and go. But they're reflecting it, and if Kipper didn't have that attitude going in,
Right.
people would probably project it right back on you, which would be a self-fulfilling prophecy at the end of the day. So it
Right.
kind of has to stop with you
It
at a
does.
certain
Well,
point.
I think that's what happened early on.
Yeah.
Is I wasn't good.
Yeah.
I wasn't good with me.
Yeah.
And it did get projected back at me. It got thrown right back in my face, which made me cower and hide and all of those things. So once you get good, I remember my grandfather telling me, as a kid, Kipper, everybody's not going to like you. Okay, period. And I couldn't understand why. I'm a good guy. I mean, I
Right.
treat people right and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. But I mean, old folks know.
Right.
And I think he was setting me up to just be able to understand that when those things happen, you're going to have to be able to withstand the storm.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But now I'm cool with me. I try to practice kindness with everyone.
Yeah.
I try to be kind to people, and I think
Yeah.
that's my general kind of way that I present myself.
Yeah.
So if you come at me any other kind of way and you're not being kind, then we just can't do whatever it is we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't, you know.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's really true. And for me, I know my purpose is to affect the perspective, to change the perspective of people who look and love like me. So I know I'm a black gay man, and I know that there are a lot of people in the world with preconceived notions of what that means.
Yes.
So I know that my purpose is literally like grounded in who I am and who I love and what I present as. So if I try to hide that, then I'm not operating in my purpose. So it's like it was something that I had to immediately become okay with, even before I was able to discern what my purpose was and put words to it. I knew that I was going into spaces and I was affecting the way that people thought about certain people groups. So that's always been my life, and it's been happening since I was in 3rd grade. Like I had a white music teacher in elementary school who mentored me very closely and took me to the governor's mansion to sing. And all these things. So I was always in places where I was one of few or the only as a black man. And then growing up, I grew to see how I was one of few or the only as a black gay man.
Right.
And so it was something that I guess my life always set me up for. So at the point that I was able to really see my purpose and define it and put words to it, I was already on the road with Iggy Azalea and the only black person on the creative team. I was already 6 seasons in with Candy on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the only gay person on her creative team. I was already in all of these spaces, so it was like, here we go. And most recently I worked on an episode of Tales on BET, and the episode takes place in a strip club, and I was brought on as the choreographer. And so I'm in the strip, I'm on the pole, I'm doing the work, I'm climbing up, twirling down on the thing. We
got a Victor
right there. She's not sturdy enough. I know I look weird spelled.
Right.
She needs to be secure. And there was a person who was visiting set as I'm walking through the routine with the actress, and he was like, hey, it's straight dudes in here. And I was like, do you also know you're the only straight dude in here that said something? So you're the only person paying attention. This is my job. It's not your job to speak to me. And the person that sees you is the director of photography. He knows what I'm doing. He's watching me as I'm doing it, and he doesn't have a problem. So if you have a problem, that's on you. Thanks. And back in. You know what I mean? And it wasn't
go back
even,
to work.
And it wasn't. And he was the person then on set, the one of 100 who was like,
looking dumb.
Oof.
You know what I mean?
Being grounded in you.
Right, being grounded in you. And so it's one of those things where I know who I am, and I know that I am who I am by divine design.
Come on, sir.
And I'm in
Absolutely.
the places that I'm in
Absolutely.
because of purpose. So whatever you have to come against that, I know it's just a distraction. And so I can just push it off. And I see the moment when me being fully me changes the way that people see me and others like me. I see it every time I perform. I see it every time I walk into a room. I've had straight men say, I don't even know how to explain it, but when you do it and when you stand and you know it's not,
No
you know
homo.
it's not.
I love you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
I love
it's
you,
not
man.
that
No
thing,
homo.
but I just finished doing Candy's Welcome to the Dungeon tour as the choreographer and creative director, and so I'm working with Candy
That's
and
phenomenal.
Trina and Tamar
That's phenomenal.
and all these people, and they all have straight management teams and all these men, and they're like, man, you do that shit, and we just be like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's it's not for me you won't always be able to put words on it, but I know that you're transformed by me being me.
Right.
And so that means I'm doing the work.
And I think the hardest part of that is that when any of us walk into our fields or our rooms, the world probably isn't ready for what we're about to give them.
Yeah.
But everyone projects that on us and they act like we're the problem. So there are moments in all of our lives where I'm sure we thought, oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Oh, yeah.
But the flip side is like, what's wrong with y'all?
Right.
Because I'm just being myself. I'm just doing what
And
I
that's
do.
it.
And y'all have to catch up.
That's
and eventually
it.
they will.
That's it. The world wasn't ready for Prince. The world
Oh,
wasn't ready for
definitely
not.
Oprah.
Right. Yeah.
The world wasn't ready for Barack Obama. The world wasn't ready for Jesus. So what
Yeah.
makes
Right.
me
Right.
think
Right.
Come
that the
on.
world's
Right.
gonna
They'll
be
be ready
ready
for
for
you.
me?
Right.
Oh, you know what? This is actually perfect. We're gonna ask. We're gonna bring in some questions
Yeah.
that have
Cool.
come in,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go
What
to.
y'all want to know?
I know, right?
What's up?
So I'm actually going to go to Walter Vincent's question. So
Walter.
hey Walter, thank you so much for being with us. Question to all the artists: do you find more inspiration for your art from your passion or your pain? Ooh.
It's a Mary J. Blige question.
That's a
Yeah, it is.
very Mary J. Blige.
Because we don't like Happy Mary.
Because we know the answer to that question from Mary J. Blige, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like I get my most inspiration from just life experiences, and I feel like passion and pain are on the spectrum of life experiences. If I don't think I can give either one more credit than the other, honestly. Like if I'm being like 1,000% honest, and that's not to like skirt your question, Walter Vincent. But you know what I mean. I can't give either one. I can give life the most credit for my personal inspiration, and because I find it in like the most random places. It's not like, oh, I have to be hurt and down in the dumps for me to like write a song, nor do I need to be enthralled or super like enthusiastic for me to write a song. Songs come to me when I'm on a plane drinking a cup of coffee, about to fall asleep, and it's like, you know what I mean? So like life, and that's life, and I may not even be able to put a thumb on where that song came from for another 5 years, but you know, it doesn't mean that the song isn't powerful.
Right.
Right. I agree with the comment that you made about it being on a spectrum, because it's, first of all, you really can't have one without the other.
Very much so.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of be able to understand that part. But them being on a spectrum, sometimes it's neither, and you're in the middle, and it's just an ambivalent sort of moment.
More often than not with me,
Right.
it's like, okay.
Right. Exactly.
Let's try this.
Yeah. And it turns out to be like really dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that there have been some moments, you know, where I've been in one of those, either very right into the spectrum or very left, and something has come of it that's been kind of exemplary.
Yeah.
But like you said, more times than not, it's just, oh, and you were just making breakfast or something. I mean, it wasn't.
A lot of times when I try to create from those like specific points of passion or pain, it ends up being a bit contrived, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I hate you in the mud. And you're like, ugh, I don't like that. You know what I mean? That's just not for me. That doesn't work for me. But when I'm just like clear and open, because a lot of those things for me can be like distractions, and they can muddle the magic, and I don't want to muddle the magic.
And then also, I think that I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
Hashtag muddle the magic.
I create best from a clear space.
Exactly.
So I have to kind of, and I know when I'm letting other outside entities rile me up or push me to create, and so I have to be like, yeet. But yes, very much so. Washing dishes, in the shower, on a plane, on the train, in the back of an Uber.
Driving.
And then
driving a car.
I like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
exactly. You see my phone is chock full of voice notes. Okay. But it's those moments of just clarity when you're just open and able to let the channel flow.
So you have to be open. Like
Well,
I hear that.
You know, we've talked about that before, about being just open and allowing the channel to operate. You know, I think that sometimes we, especially if we write from those places that are too far on the spectrum, they become too personal. And it becomes about you. And it's not about the work anymore. It's not about the song. It's not about, it's just about you.
Yeah.
And who gives a damn
Yeah.
about that? I mean, it's cute and it's fun and it's
cute,
therapeutic,
it's therapeutic.
and cathartic and all that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and so, you know.
I'm going to bring in an additional question, and then we're going to wrap. And I'm going to go to Anthony Antoine.
Wrap?
Hey,
Wrap
Anthony.
like
I
the
know,
end?
it's
Wrap.
so
What?
fast.
Wow.
We're done,
Anthony
right?
Antoine asked us a question. First of all, hey, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
Anthony, and we're going to talk about, Anthony will be here. Anthony said, have you found that supposed affirming communities or group throw out faggot or gay as a read or cut when they get mad or there's tension? I would say,
Of course.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Even affirming communities, I would say absolutely.
Sure. If you don't mind.
No, I don't.
I had a situation at my church because I go to an affirming church that I absolutely love. Shout out Victory for the World, Stone Mountain.
Yes.
Dr. Kenneth L. Samuel, our pastor
Yes.
and founder.
Visit
But I had a situation when I first joined the choir there. I got the whole caddy thing. You know, I don't come in a new circumstance. I'm Kipper Jones and I've done da-da-da. I don't do that. So I came, I sat in the back, just trying to soak it up, find out how this works,
Yes.
find out how y'all get on, how can I be down. And there were some guys in the choir who would give me the stank face eye and that kind of thing. And I was just like, well, what's that all about? You know, but always remembering what my grandfather said, Kipper, everybody's not going to like you. I get it. But I never felt like it would be people who don't even know me.
More often than not, it is.
It is,
People
yeah.
who don't.
You know, that have no idea who you are.
Yeah.
But, and they cut it up and it got messy and all of that kind of stuff. And I confront, because there's good confrontation sometimes. If you
Yeah.
do it right. So I stepped up to it. Okay, so what is your problem with me? Well, I ain't never liked you, and I was like, well, ain't that something?
And this is in church?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Church folks are the
I know,
worst
I'm like
folks.
this. I'm saying that with sarcasm. I'm really
ton
not
of it.
surprised.
Church folks are the worst folks, and we know that. I mean, I love my church family, but you can find some really turdy rocks, and it got really bad. It got really bad, but I confronted it. We dealt with it and got beyond it.
Good.
But I mean, it can be really catty out there on the landscape. You know.
I mean, the thing is, from a lifetime of people using those terms as weaponizing those terms, the sting doesn't sting as much anymore,
Right.
just
Right.
because I know where it's coming from. Like, I know it's coming from your own ignorance.
Right.
I know it's coming from a lack of creativity on your part. You're just reaching for the closest knife, but you pulled up a spoon and you know what I mean. So it's kind of dull. It's kind of dull just because I really know like it's just not. And I'm not saying it to be like, oh, I'm immune to it, because there are definitely still some moments where it hurts and where where it can penetrate the surface. But I don't know. I just feel like life, my purpose, my journey is so much bigger than that, to a point where I can't even tell you, other than like the situation that happened on set at Tales. And I think even me operating so fully in myself stopped that man from, even if he wanted to go there, he was just like, oh, I mean, you can't be doing that in front of straight men, which at that point became a, you're doing gay shit thing. And I was like, well, you're watching gay shit, so what's next?
And it seems to be tapping into something.
Right.
It's resonating with you.
I know I'm a bad bitch. Who are you?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, like, you have to, like you said, there is a good way to confront those things, and you have to be so secure in yourself that you can confront those things, nip that in the bud, and continue on with your purpose work. Because
I think that is a good I want for people who are watching this, understand that it took a while to get here.
Yeah.
For all of us,
For
yeah.
this to happen,
Yeah.
because there was a time
Right.
when that shut me down completely.
Yeah.
I mean, literally took me out of the game.
Yeah.
Because it hurt so bad. When
Yeah.
I lived in LA, and you can hear those whispers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I wasn't good with me, but you would say those things and that would shut me down because I heard it.
Yeah.
And I knew what was going on, and it can be so hurtful to somebody who isn't as well adjusted or as solid or as grounded in their authenticity.
Yeah, I think
You
what
know.
I'm hearing, which is really, I mean, it's really empowering for people who are watching. I mean, I hear both of your stories, and it's a journey, and it never ends. So
It
it never
never
ends until you leave
ends.
this earth.
Yeah.
And it's a very spiritual journey. It's a very individual journey. And to me, it's one of those things where you really have to get the locus of control back to yourself, because
Yes.
I think you always have to change it. Like people say, well, somebody made me feel bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say you allowed them
Ooh.
to make you feel
Yes.
bad. So you have to, but that's a journey, because
Yeah.
we always don't come at that power. We always don't come with that power.
No.
And if we have a society that doesn't like us because we're black, because we're same gender loving, because we may be on a continuum of masculine and feminine that they don't quite understand what to do with, and they try to make us feel bad, and there may be a time where you do feel bad and you do internalize it, but then you have to come to a point where you get to your control and say, hey, no, this is who I am,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to allow you
Yeah.
to make me feel bad anymore. I'm just going to be myself, and then we'll go from there. But I just, I see it all the time, and it's a lot of times with young black gay men, older black gay men, anyone across the generational continuum. People are always trying to make us feel bad about our shit, and so you have to find some strength somewhere. And when you talked about friends and family and everybody else, like
Yeah.
you have to find, even if it's that one person
Sure.
that can give you that strength, that one person you can lean on. None of us goes through this journey alone,
Yeah.
and we all need somebody to prop us up at a certain time. And so whoever does that, but you have to find it in yourself. You have to garner that strength from wherever you find it. And that's why it's so important to find like someone like Billy Porter, who's just out there in the world right now, and he's influencing so many people right now. And I'm so happy for him, because his journey was a long one.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had to get to that level, and
Yes.
now he's where he is, and he's parlaying that into other people through social media,
Yeah.
Sure.
through entertainment, through everything. And there's so many young little black gay boys that are seeing that, transgender women and men, gender queer people along the continuum, and just saying, "Oh my God, I can be myself."
Yes.
And I can do that, and so it's a very powerful thing. But it is a journey, and it is something where you have to get to a point. And so it's, if we had all talked, if we had all sat on this couch and these chairs like 20 years
Wow.
ago,
No.
Different.
I wouldn't be
conversation.
sitting
Very
stories.
different.
Yeah,
Oh,
very different
totally
stories.
different.
I wouldn't have
Very
been
different
comfortable
stories.
enough to do it. You know what I mean? And speaking of Billy Porter too, and I don't want to throw this around, but let's make sure that we lift that guy up and keep him
Yes.
bolstered and prayed for
Yeah.
and covered, because he is
Yeah.
doing something
Yes.
that is heretofore unseen, undone. I mean, he is. If anybody saw that between commercial break performance with him and James Corden
From the
For the
Tony.
Tony.
From the Tony
Yes,
Awards.
Yeah.
Sunday night, please do yourself a favor and go to YouTube and see it.
Yeah.
It is the most empowering. This man is so freaking gifted. I can't say enough about him. But what he did for our community, for blacks, for same gender loving people, for entertainers, for any some little black boy in East St. Louis who just wants to be an entertainer and has no way to get it out. And if he saw that,
Yeah.
he had to be just thoroughly built out by that. I mean, it was just an amazing, amazing moment. So please, Billy, we love you. We keep
We love you, Billy.
we keep you lifted.
Yes.
We just pray for you. You're awesome and incredible and necessary.
Yes. Very much
So necessary.
We are getting a lot of signs
So
that we're out of time.
I'm gonna do.
Ah.
So I want to do really quick. We're so I'm gonna shout outs
Wrap it
really
up.
quick. So Trey Sam's World. Hey Trey Sam.
Hey, Trey.
You
Hey.
Trey Sam is here with us in the chat. We have Tracy Nelson as well, who is here with us in the
Hey,
chat.
Tracy.
Thank you all for being here. So two things I want to do. So Kipper and Victor, y'all have stuff. That's Jason Pure.
Hey,
Jason.
Jason. So I want y'all. So Victor, we're gonna start with you, and then Kipper, we have so you have an event coming up. Kipper, you're gonna be at City Winery, so we're gonna do this now. So Victor, tell us about Pride and Soul.
Okay, so Pride and Soul, the Pride and Soul Festival is an event that I'm curating featuring 8 Black queer artists, 2 DJs, and an amazing hostess. I'm so happy. Like I've had this idea like running around in my head for about 3 years now.
Awesome.
And I mean, just all the people that I've worked with, just in the general commercial world, has helped me kind of raise my profile to a point where I'm able to do a situation like this. So this is the first time we're doing it. It's next Wednesday, June 19th at the Music Room. Is a sonic celebration of Black Music Month and LGBTQ Pride.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. I have a new single out called Venom.
It's hot.
available
Yeah,
on
it's
all
hot.
Come
digital
on.
platforms. And you can just follow me on everything at Mr. Glam Rock Soul to find out more about Pride and Soul and to download Venom.
Perfect.
At Mr. Glam Rock Soul.
At
'cause I
Mr.
love
Glam
it.
Rock Soul on everything.
Oh, everything.
Victor, I'm sorry, Kipper, you also have a show, City Winery. We have a picture of that
Sure.
coming up.
Oh, yeah? Really?
Yes, we do.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Whoa, look at there.
Yes.
Come on.
So the Kipper Jones Experience, featuring the Icarus Movement, which is my band,
Yes.
and the Black Betties. Who
I
are-
love them.
Yes,
I love
yes,
them.
The Murphy twins.
Yes.
We're doing an evening at City Winery of, hopefully this will be an ongoing series because I'm really excited about it, but the first night is called Philadelphia, and it will be an entire night of Philadelphia music. Beginning with, man, we're doing it. We
Yes.
we are going there.
It's gonna be good. Like,
It's
I
gonna be
just know
so
it's
good.
gonna
Once
be
you see
good.
the track list is crazy.
It's
I
crazy.
cannot
I mean, starting
wait.
with like Delphonics and Stylistics and, all the way to Hell Melvin and Blue Notes, OJ's stuff. And the girls are going to do Jones Girls and Phyllis
Oh my
Hyman
God.
and Patti LaBelle. And
Yes.
we'll do, just everything. Jill Scott.
Yes.
Roots,
Of course,
and,
of course.
we have some surprises that night, some surprise guests. And it's just going to be awesome and
So
wonderful. And I'm
excited.
very, very excited about that. July 10th. Wednesday, July 10th.
City Winery
City
here in
Winery in
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Get your tickets.
Yes. Now?
Now.
Now.
Because they will go fast. It's going to be an
Yes.
incredible evening. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
I
And what's
gotta
your
get
performance, David?
I'm performing every day.
Yes.
Every day is a
24/7.
performance. Now that's a word.
That's our
Every
right
day is
about
a
it.
performance.
hashtag that.
Every day.
I want to thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all
Yes,
so
thank
much
y'all.
for everyone who joined us this evening. Once again, if you haven't done so, make sure you follow the Counter Narrative Project. We are on social media. Facebook at the Counter Narrative Project, Instagram at the Counter Narrative, and Twitter at Building Desire. I had to
Yes,
remember.
yes.
Yes.
Can I take 1 second?
You can take more than 1 second.
I didn't give my social media information.
Go
Please
ahead.
do that.
Because I'm at Uncle
Let the
Kipper.
people know.
Yes.
I'm at Uncle Kipper at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. If you look up Kipper Jones, www.kipperjones.com is the
Yes.
website. Okay, great. But somebody's going to say, what the hell is the Arbiters?
Yes.
The Arbiters, we are the Arbiters. Black musicians, as long as this business or as long as music has ever been in this country, have been the arbiters of what is to be. In terms of what the rest of this country does, we set the trend, we set the tone, we lay the track.
Yes.
Everybody else follows it.
Yes.
And after that, we may decide to make another track.
Yes, sir.
Because, we do blues. You go to a blues concert right now, it's 98% white. We're not there.
Yeah.
Because we moved on.
Yes.
We discovered and invented rock and roll. The first rock and roll record was Ike Turner and the Rhythm Kings. The record is called Rocket 88, Do Your Homework.
Blues, country music.
We left it
Country,
alone.
yeah.
People don't understand that the banjo is an African instrument. So we, people, are the arbiters. There'll be more to come about this, and you'll figure out why I had to bring that up. But I just wanted to let y'all know, because I know people saying, what does his shirt say? But that's what it is, and that's who
Yes.
we are. And I think that once we know who we are, we're charged with doing better. We complain about what the music is on the landscape right now, but I think that it's our job to make sure that everybody knows who they are.
Yes.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So that's my deal.
Listen, that is the perfect. I want to thank all of you once again. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and we will be off next week. So we're going to rerun a show next week. We will be back for Black Music Month Part 2. We're going to talk about house music, y'all.
Yeah.
So come back here on the 26th. We're going to talk about house music. Anthony Antoine is in the comments. Anthony Antoine is going to be back here
Come on,
on
son.
the orange couch
Awesome.
with us. So we're going to talk about house and how it gives us life.
Yeah.
So we will see you live on we will see you live in 2 Wednesdays, but we are out.
He is pole
Thank you.
dancing.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good evening.
Bye,
Good
y'all.
God
night.
bless you. God keep you.